Guys in the gym and busting, ready for whatever it is. I can't say I'm not in the background in the board deals, but I can say I truly feel and believe in my heart that the reason why the fight ain't happening yet, the reason what's going on, is because they ain't coming correct. That's all it is. True. They ain't talking right. This is the fight. This is the fight. I was doing my grass. I was cutting my grass.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, what you just heard was the voice of Team Crawford. Okay, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence "Bud" Crawford. 38 wins, no loss, no draw. 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm. With that said, this is somebody that Terence Crawford is part of Terence Crawford team, like a brother to Terence Crawford, okay? And Terence Crawford co-signs him. And he's stating that part of the reason why the mega fight, massive, undisputed, welterweight showdown between Terence Crawford himself and undefeated 3-belt unified WBC, IBF, WBA, Ring Magazine, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Errol the True Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm. With that said, okay, this makes for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. Well, when people are saying that, Terence Crawford is looking for a massive number to secure this fight and sign the fight to get the fight to fruition, everybody says it's clickbait. Everybody says it's not real. Well, here you have a member of Terence Crawford's team that's telling you that if the fight is not happening, if Terence Crawford didn't sign, is because the numbers are not right. Coming from the PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, founder and advisor Al Heyman, Showdown President of Sports Steven Espinosa, is coming from their side. So if Terence Crawford hasn't signed the deal, it's coming from their side. Let's listen again.
They ain't talking right. This is the fight. This is the fight. I was doing my grass.
So there you have it. He said they're not talking right. The numbers are not right? But in the same token, he's saying that he's in the background, but then he says he just talked to Terence Crawford, and then he says, he's not sure exactly what's taking place. But then in the flip side, he says that members that are reporting that Terence Crawford is asking for a massive amount of money, and PBC and Showtime are not willing to give it to him, that's fake news. But let's listen to it once again.
But I can say I truly feel and believe in my heart that the reason why the fight ain't happening yet, the reason what's going on, is because they ain't coming correct. That's all it is. True. They ain't talking right. This is the fight. This is the fight.
So if they're not coming correct, he's alluding to the PBC and their side not coming correct. Okay, he said, I know Terence Crawford, and if it's up to Terence Crawford, he will make the fight happen. But they're not coming correct on their side, and that's holding up the fight. As I told you guys, you're going to hear a plethora of different reports, rumors, and assumptions. You're going to hear so many different allegations, so many different sources having so many different viewpoints or reasons as to why the fight has been signed or not been signed. Okay, most recently Errol Spence, he did an interview yesterday, and Errol Spence, he stated that he believed that the fight is closer than ever to coming to fruition. And if it don't happen now, okay, then the fight is never going to happen. So Errol Spence, he's stating that, it's closer than ever to happening. And if it don't come to fruition right now, it's never going to happen. Again, Errol Spence said he's very, very confident that this fight is going to happen. He believes that it's going to get done. It's a legacy fight for Terence Crawford. It's a legacy fight for Errol Spence. But when you hear so many different reports, people will tell you that it's not true. Terence Crawford is not asking for 20 to 25 to 30 million dollars. Okay, but in the same token, they're saying, well, the numbers ain't right. Okay, if the numbers ain't right, you know, from this side, then Terence Crawford has not signed. The initial holdup was that there was two massive networks and promotional companies that have a difficult time coming together. That's what Terence Crawford was signed, the legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum and ESPN. Errol Spence obviously signed with the PBC, Al Heyman, advisor, founder, and Showtime and Fox. Okay, and so you have to bring those two massive entities together to make this massive fight, and it's difficult to do. And so with that said, you know, that was the initial holdup. But now Terence Crawford, after his latest fight, November 20th, when he took on two-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter, he defeated Shawn Porter by 10th round stoppage victory, and he became a free agent. That was his last fight on the contract, so everybody expected this fight to get made, okay? But Errol Spence, he still had to handle business. Errol Spence, he had a fight coming up April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium against former WBA welterweight world champion Cuban star boxer Yordenis Ugas, in which Errol Spence, oddly enough, he got a 10th round stoppage over Yordenis Ugas, okay? He broke Yordenis Ugas' ribs, nose, and orbital bone in the fight and collecting that WBA strap. Immediately following that fight, Errol Spence, he let it be known the fight that he wants is Terence Bud Crawford. Said, I'm coming for the strap. I want your strap. I'm taking your strap. Okay, and he's been aggressively pursuing the fight with Terence Crawford since then. And again, like I stated, immediately following, you was going to hear a plethora of different reports, rumors, and speculations as to what's going on with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight. You're going to hear Terence Crawford's pricing himself out. You're going to hear Errol Spence's wants a 60-40. I even heard, again, the number come out that Errol Spence is looking for 70-30. Terence Crawford wants 50-50. Errol Spence wants $30 million. Terence Crawford wants $30 million. You're going to hear so many different reports and rumors because of the excitement. It's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, so you're going to get everybody, you know, having their take and sources as to what's taking place, because at the end of the day, it's excitement, okay? Everybody can't wait. They're anxious to see this fight come to fruition. They can't wait. It's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. It's the biggest fight in the welterweight division since 1981, when you had Sugar Ray Leonard, the legendary, iconic Hall of Fame superstar boxer Sugar Ray Leonard, and Thomas the Hitman Hearns fighting for Undisputed. That was September 16th of 1981. That was over 40 years ago. Okay, now most recently we obviously had Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. That was the biggest fight in the sport of boxing history, as it holds still to this day. But the fight itself, the product in the ring, just didn't live up to the billing. Okay, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns lived up to the billing, and this fight with Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, seems to be a can't miss entertainment showdown. Okay, so it's going to live up to the billing. So I'm hard pressed, as many people are hard pressed, to see this fight not live up to the billing. And so when you have a fight of this magnitude and you have two massive fan bases coming together, there's going to be a lot of different speculations on emotionally driven sport. Okay, so with that said, you know, he's saying at the same time, he's saying that he don't know what he just said, but then in the same token says Terence Crawford co-signs him. Clearly Terence Crawford co-signs him, because a few times Terence Crawford is present when he's doing his live streams. Okay, so Terence Crawford, you know, he holds the mitts for Terence Crawford. He's part of Terence Crawford's team. And, you know, there's a lot of contradictions going on. But obviously that's going to happen just like anything else, right? Just like any other reporter, because the excitement for the fight. So now when you had, you know, somebody put a post out that, you know, YouTube is making a lot of money. YouTube is making a lot of money on Terence Crawford, Errol Spence fight. Hashtag new media need to tighten up. And Errol Spence, he co-signed it by saying facts. You know, well, these speculations are going to be fueled by time. The longer the fight doesn't come to fruition, the more the speculations are going to grow. It's just that simple, okay? And so you even have now Team Crawford, like I stated, Terence Crawford's sister, she came out and she stated that, you know, just be patient. The fight is going to be signed very soon. Okay. We have Brian Custer of Showtime announcer. He stated that now we know the fight Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, going to happen in the fall when talking to two undefeated two-division world champion, unified super featherweight Shakur Stevenson, and asked Shakur Stevenson take on that fight. What do you think about the fight? Don't know if he let it slip out or not. But Brian Custer said, now that we know Terence Crawford, Errol Spence going to fight in the fall. Well, that's the timeline, September, October, November area, right? That's the fall time. So again, there's a lot of excitement surrounding this fight. There's a lot of emotion surrounding this fight, and there's going to be a lot of speculation, rumors, and reports, okay, about what's taking place behind the scenes. You even had Steve Kim recently came out, and he stated that he was told that Terence Crawford, Errol Spence signed their portion of the contract. So we got to see how it unfolds and plays out. Again, this is a fantastic fight. It's a legacy fight for both guys. It's undisputed. The first undisputed 4 major sanction belt holder in the history of the sport of boxing is on the line, and the fans are anxiously waiting. The media is anxiously waiting. The two teams are anxiously waiting. And just that, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. And again, just like I told you guys, if he's saying that Terence Crawford didn't sign the contract because the money is not right on that side, well, that lends credence to people saying that Terence Crawford is dragging his feet because of money, right? Is he asking for $20 million? Who knows? Is he asking for 30? Who knows? But again, that gives credence to what people are saying. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. That's all I got for you. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.